Hey guys, it's Heather here and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a continuation from my Trader Joe's haul. I tasted a lot of the items that I bought in my most recent haul where I bought everything pumpkin spice and maple pecan and everything like that. And now I'm gonna share how I put some of those things together and what I thought of everything. If you like this kind of content along with weight loss and health related content, make sure you subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload. I've also got some exciting things coming to my channel that you don't want to miss. The first thing I'm going to start with is the pumpkin pecan oatmeal. So I decided to combine this with 2 tablespoons of pumpkin cream cheese. I thought that it would just give it more of like a pumpkin cheesecake kind of flavor, and I added some almond milk and some cinnamon, and then one day I also added peanut butter. That was amazing. I give the oatmeal probably a 7 out of 10. The taste was good, but I only would give it a 7 out of 10 because I'm not a huge fan of instant oatmeal. I don't like the mushy texture. I would much prefer to make my own oatmeal with, pumpkin and maybe some pumpkin pie spice. The texture is just so much better when it's actual oats and not instant oats. But it's great for when you're in a pinch, so I'd give it a 7 out of 10. The next item was the pumpkin butternut squash biscuit. I thought it was actually really good. I served it alongside a Caesar salad. The only reason I give it an 8 out of 10 is because there's quite a bit of sodium in it, which is why it tastes so good. The first day I had a whole cup and that was a lot of sodium. I think it was close to 900 milligrams of sodium, and that's a lot for just a cup. So later on during the week I only had half of a cup with my Caesar salad. Just be aware that if you try the soup, there is quite a bit of sodium in it if that's something you're watching. The next item was the cinnamon bun spread.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
It was a lot like actual caramel with cinnamon in it. It was so good. It was like having a caramel apple with cinnamon, and it was amazing. I had a tablespoon with my apple, which seemed to be quite enough. The apples were pretty small. They were smaller Honeycrisp apples. I found that it was really sweet, so just a little bit was just enough. The next items were kind of combined. I got the pumpkin tortilla chips and the fall harvest salsa. The pumpkin tortilla chips were really good. I was a little worried about those, but it was just a hint of pumpkin. It was the perfect hint of sweet and of salty, and it was just so good. I give the chips a 10 out of 10. And then the fall harvest salsa. I was a little worried about this too, just because I was like, I don't know about squash in my salsa. I don't know why I was so scared of this fall harvest salsa. It was so good, and it even had a little bit of a kick to it. I mean, it wasn't a lot of heat, but the heat in it really balanced out the sweetness, and it was delicious. The fall harvest salsa, I give a 10 out of 10, and together, a huge 10 out of 10. When you combined the two, they were just perfect. Next up is the butternut squash mac and cheese, and I've had this before, so I kind of knew going in that I would like it. I added some chicken sausage and spinach and broccoli to give it a little more oomph, especially because a whole package is actually 2 servings, and 1 serving is pretty small. You really need to add something to it to give it a little more substance and a little more staying power. So the chicken sausage was great to add a little more protein, and the broccoli and the spinach added some more bulk without a lot of calories. And I give it a 9 out of 10 just because I would prefer it if they had a package with just 1 serving. It was very tempting to eat the whole box, but I didn't. I took out the half that I needed, and then I put the rest into a container in the fridge. The next item was the pumpkin cranberry crisps, and I topped those with some of the pumpkin cream cheese. That was a great snack. I don't know that I would like the crisps alone without the pumpkin cream cheese. I mean, they'd be fine, but I think the cream cheese really added a lot to it. I think I'd give the pumpkin cranberry crisp a 9 out of 10. There was just a little too much clove. The clove was very potent, and if you're not a huge fan of a lot of clove, just keep that in mind. The next items were the pumpkin shaped pasta that was actually made out of butternut squash and the autumnal harvest pasta sauce. I've had both of these before, so I knew I liked it. I really love the texture of the pasta. I would give the combination of the to a 10 out of 10. I did not try them each separately, so I'm not gonna grade them separately. I think together they make a perfect pair. I also added some chicken sausage again, along with some spinach and broccoli, and that added a lot of bulk to it. The next item is the protein maple muffin. I actually had that for breakfast this morning. I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, I like the taste. I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. The taste was pretty good. I didn't like the consistency or the texture of it. It was kind of odd, to be honest. I don't know how to describe it, but it could also be my fault. When I put the almond milk in, it's rested on top of the dry stuff that was in the box, so it like didn't combine very well, and some of it boiled over in the microwave, which really annoyed me. So one, there wasn't as much liquid in there, and two, I probably should have maybe mixed the almond milk before I heated it, but the directions didn't say to do it, so that's what I did. But yeah, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, and I don't know that I would get it again. I have not had the chocolate yet. We'll see how that is. Next item is the pumpkin bread and muffin mix, and also the maple butter. So I didn't have oil for the recipe. I had olive oil, and I didn't think that would taste very good. I had to substitute butter, and I also added some chocolate chips just to make it a little more yummy. And I made it into bread. I'd probably give the mix a 9 out of 10. The bread crumbled a lot. It didn't stay formed together, and I don't know if that's because I used butter. Maybe I cut it too soon, and maybe tomorrow it'll be better. However, it still tasted amazing, so I'll give it a 9 out of 10. And because it crumbled a lot, it was hard for me to put the maple butter on. But the maple butter, you guys, so good. Obviously, you can't have too much. It's very sweet, but it was perfect on top of the pumpkin bread. So there's actually quite a bit that I still have not tasted. So my plan is to use up a lot of that stuff that I haven't eaten next week. My grocery bill will thankfully be a lot lower tomorrow. So overall, it was a hit. There were a couple misses, but they weren't so bad that I couldn't eat them. So I mean, I think it was a win. Again, if you have a Trader Joe's near you, I definitely recommend a lot of their products. But that's it for today. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe down below and hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! How can I